Hello everyone, welcome to Wicked West Books. My name is Meg West, and today I am doing my wrap-up for the month of February. I managed to read 6 books, short stories, or a couple of them, and today I'm going to tell you what it was that I read. So 2 of the first books that I finished during the month of February were Daughter of the Blood and The Invisible Ring by Anne Bishop. These are, of course, 2 more books in the Dark Jewels series that I am in the process of rereading and getting ready for the book signing that is going to be going on in just a few days. Wow, I ran out of time to read the last few books. Okay, jumping right on that next. I've talked about these books an awful lot in the last few videos, so I don't really want to repeat myself for everyone who's watching. There are, of course, trigger warnings copied and pasted into the description of this video so that you can know. Either one of these books is a good place to start. The first time I read through the book series, I started with The Invisible Ring, which chronologically takes place before Daughter of the Blood, but Daughter of the Blood is the actual first book written for the series. Another big book that I finished for the month of February was a reread of Elantras by Brandon Sanderson. This is the first book that Brandon Sanderson got published, and in my opinion, the weakest one he has written, but that's probably just me and my preference on stories and the fact that this doesn't have a lot of actual plot. They don't have a specific end goal that they're going towards. They are just kind of living their life in this high fantasy world, and it turns into a story, which is probably one of my least favorite ways to tell a story. But it's still Brandon Sanderson, and it's still good, and honestly, this, as my second read of it, went so much better this time because I knew where it was going and how to get there, and made it much more enjoyable for me. And I have some idea, because of reading all of the books last year, exactly how this book fits in to the whole Cosmere-verse. For information on the Cosmere-along that is going on this year, I'm going to put a link in the description so that if you would like to join in, you still can, since the live show for Elantras isn't going to be until the end of March anyway. Of course, after I finished Elantras, I had to read The Emperor's Soul by Brandon Sanderson. This is a short story that takes place on the same planet as Elantras. It actually takes place, I think, a couple of countries to the north of one of the countries that's mentioned in here. It doesn't really give me a map, but incomplete map. There is one country that is vaguely mentioned one single time in The Emperor's Soul that kind of gives you some idea of where they are on that planet. But the magic system in The Emperor's Soul is completely different than the magic system in Elantras, and it's one of the most beautiful magic systems I've ever read. I absolutely love the magic system in The Emperor's Soul, and highly, highly recommend reading it because my explanation of that magic system will not do it justice. After that, I read another short story, which was The Squirrel on the Train by Kevin Hearn. This is a murder mystery told from the perspective of an Irish wolfhound who has a mental connection to a druid and, as such, tells the story himself. And Oberon is one of the funniest characters that I have ever read, and even if I was not the biggest fan of the Iron Druid series, from which Oberon came from, Oberon is an entirely lovable character that comes from that world, and him, another Irish wolfhound, and a smaller dog, whose breed I cannot remember, help Atticus solve the murder of a man who looks exactly like him. This book gives you such things as guilt ferrets and worry bats, and just will make you laugh a lot through the entire thing. And the last book that I completed for the month of February was my choice for the buddy read with my husband, and that book is A Plague of Giants by Kevin Hearn. If you watch my videos, you know that I went to get the second book in this series signed, as well as, of course, this book. And honestly, I loved this book much, much more than the Iron Druid Chronicles. This one was a much stronger read for me, and I look forward to finishing it. It also is only going to be a trilogy, so it has a very visual end in sight next year. The thing that might stop people from reading this is that it technically has 11 point of view characters. Yes, that's a lot of people to follow, and yes, I got confused listening to the audiobook. Fortunately, the audiobook comes with a PDF, and of course, physical book has it on the inside cover, a dramatis persona, which is a few pages of all the main characters in the story, so that you are much less likely to be lost on exactly who everyone is. And while technically it is told from the perspective of each and every character in it, it is told from that point of view, also from the form of a bard who changes his physical shape in order to tell the story from these people's points of view. So in all actuality, in this physical book, you meet 4 of those 11 point of view characters, because it's the bard as those characters telling the story, which is really fun, honestly, and a great way to tell the story. And I really enjoy that Kevin Hearn and the bard in the story chose to tell the story from smaller points of view. Like, the daughter of a merchant is one, a translator who has a very strong fondness for mustard is another, and the government in this war does not have a huge portion of the storytelling, and I really admired that. So I'm really looking forward to reading book 2 and completing the series, and I think it's going to be one of my favorite ones. So that is it. Those are the books that I read during the month of February. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and feel free to subscribe to my channel if you have not done so already. I post videos every Wednesday when I remember how to record them. That's why there was no video last week. Have a wicked day.